with
All
my
right.
headset.
Well, hey everyone on stream and in the audience, thanks so much for coming. This is going to be the first segment in our fundraising deep dives for our accelerator program. We have Michael here from XR Workout, beautiful fitness app, and I can't wait to hear more from you guys. To kick this off, we have a little intro video that Michael recorded that we're going to play on screen here.
Hi, my name is Michael. I would like to introduce you to VR Workout, which we are claiming to be the strongest workout in VR, and which is set to become a leader in the spatial fitness into the next decades. VR Workout is a fitness-first exercise game, leading with truly effective exercises like push-ups, crunches, and burpees. We already have a wide variety of features, like multiplayer, where you can challenge your friends across the globe to live workout together in a shared space. Dynamic difficulty based on heart rate, where the game gets harder if your heart rate gets below a certain target and gets easier if your heart rate gets too high. Or using your own choice of music, either by uploading your own MP3s or just by using a YouTube playlist. We have assembled a dream team and board, including celebrity fitness authority Dr. John Jaquish, Tim Robbins' business partner, Nanea Reeves, the founder of Trip Meditation, Andromeda Entertainment, the publishers behind AudioTrip, Simland, an author and biohacking leader, and many more. We are uniquely positioned to become a leader in fitness on the next computing platform and are fully prepared for Apple's release next year. Come join us!
Awesome. Well, sorry the video wasn't perfectly synced, but I think that's a good first video for the first segment. I guess my first question, Michael, just to open it up to you is, how has your fundraising process been going?
Well, our fundraising process is, some may know it, we are in talks with Oculus. So I'm not sure how much we officially can tell, but we are in the process of getting a grant for the development. Because Oculus is they have been having an eye on us since a few months. I think even back since the start of the year.
What a buddy.
And well, people who know the game, mostly what's holding back at the moment is the graphics. So that's basically the reason why we're still waiting for that. But we are in very close talks to get that running. We're also in talks with Andromeda Entertainment about the publishing deal. So that's everything is still in progress. But they actually we challenged them. So we implemented challenges in our game, and we actually created a challenge to challenge them so that they get actually more involved in the game, and they're trying to beat us now. So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Be great.
So it's interesting that you say an Oculus grant. I know I see a bunch of people here have been through a similar process with Oculus grants. How do you compare that or fit that into traditional venture financing? Is that instead of venture financing, or is that something you can go back to an investor with as an extra attractive thing to invest in your project?
Definitely. So having a grant from Oculus shows others that they have some confidence in you, and that that if someone invests, you already have if you have a grant from Oculus, you basically have the store listings already signed up, because otherwise they wouldn't give you money. It gives them assurance that there is a backing behind it, and also with the publisher, they are also kind of like, if Oculus gives you something, then we are more confident that it's actually it's worth it, and it gives us more confidence. Yeah.
Great. One of the things I'm really interested to hear from you about is you have a very specific focus, which is you're a great scrappy engineer. You're really good with product, right? But building a business like yours requires lots of different types of people. You need the investors, you need the go-to-market and the business people, and you also need really the health-focused people to be involved. How have you been recruiting these other people to join your project?
So at the moment, my recruiting is basically, I'm a Discord recruiter, we could say, because I'm trying to get into contact with a lot of people. It's a lot of work, because you have to think from their point of view what's interesting to them. I'm friends with FitProVR, with Ari from this YouTube streamer from who does a lot of fitness streams. I'm actually trying to get to know Chesney from the guest code from Supernatural a bit better. So it's a lot of social work. You have to show people that you are invested in that, and if they help you, that they're actually doing something good. From the developer side, I'm closely talking to the developer who is doing the VR backend in the Godot engine. So,
Yep.
And I already have him lined up for at least part-time work for us. So that's, I mean, obviously he keeps working for the Godot engine as well, but that's basically the best thing you can have, that the guy who's developing the VR thing in your engine, that he's also on your team. So I think you can't get a lot better than that. And I'm also still from my university time, I'm also trying to get, I already have that lined up, people from the biomechanics institute, so that they're also interested in that. They actually wanted to get us in touch with other universities to get a grant there, but since we're trying to do the basically the commercial route, it's a bit of an holdback, so we can't really do the grant funding. So we have to do the VC funding, but we have them lined up for studies and that how to make a really effective exercise. And yeah, I think we have a lot of people lined up that are really focused on that.
And when you build this advisory board, are you giving out little pieces of equity, or is this purely a collaborative thing?
So the people I mentioned in the video, there it's a share. So they get a little share to be on the advisory board, because we are benefiting from the network behind that. I mean, Nania Reeves alone, she's big in that space, and well, being the cousin of Keanu Reeves is also kind of good. And yeah, so we have to give out something that they actually help us, but they also like the idea. So everybody we've talked so far, they really liked the whole idea behind it, and yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I think one of the things we hear from an investor's standpoint is fitness is one of those things that's just obvious. It's like, of course, this is going to be a way that people work out. It is already, but of course, it's going to grow astronomically. It just makes sense. At the same time, when you have an idea like that, you have a lot of other people that are interested in it too, right? Every team has their own take. And you have apps like Supernatural and FitXR that are fairly far along. They're in the Oculus Store. They have users. They have revenue. So when you have that discussion with your investors about these other companies in the space, how do you position and describe your company relative to those other companies?
So, I mean, if you mention Supernatural, we aren't actually trying to compete with Supernatural. There are a lot of similarities, but Supernatural is more competing with Beat Saber and Synth Riders. So it's more this cardio, casual cardio thing where you have recorded trainers. I mean, that's obviously working for a lot of people, but that's something that has a ceiling. So if you start with that, it's really great to get into that space, to get moving, to get your exercise up, but at a certain point you have to increase your length. You're doing farther and farther and farther. So then at some point you have to do something else to not do 3-hour Supernatural workouts to still meet your fitness goals. What we are trying to do is create a strong workout, which is a short thing. If we are trying to create a world where people are in there for hours on end, but we're trying to get something where you put on your headset, you do your exercise, and you're finished. So that people know up front, I'm going to do 10 minutes and I have my fitness goal reached for today. So a more closer competitor would be FitXR, because they are obviously also in this high intensity space. I mean, they are more a boxing thing. They have added the dancing and the high intensity things, but in our opinion, in my opinion, it's spread a bit too far. So I mean, we're focusing really on this exercise, on this body. We are kind of loving the bodyweight exercises, and nobody's really doing that. I mean, there are small developers trying it as well, but nobody's really trying to think that through to the end, that what can you do with bodyweight exercises in VR, because you have to account for the headset. And also for hand tracking, we are hand tracking first. So everything you're doing in the game is hand tracking based. You can do controllers, but hand tracking is just the better way to do it. And all the games that are currently there are focused on controllers, because it's, for this game mode, the better experience. Now adding hand tracking would just be something bolting on top, but it's not meant for hand tracking. In our case, it's really focused on hand tracking. So we're trying to basically innovate the others to stay ahead of them and be the better choice.
And one of the most interesting things to me that I've always noticed about your business is your usage of open source. So your project really started as an open source project. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of open source. I mean, I have a few other open source projects, and because I'm trying to give everything I'm doing, I'm trying to make it available to others, because Mostly you can't do everything alone. So if you're trying to create something like that, you can't really do it alone. It's better if you have an open source community behind you who can add things that you just can't do. But also there are so many open source tools we all are using. I mean, if you use Blender or if you GIMP or anything, we are already using so many open source tools. So it's really it's kind of you have to give back to the community. Obviously, if you're doing a business, then you have to weigh those things against each other. I mean, if you have an open source product, then you basically are more in the service space. So you're more trying to sell some service to people. And if you're in a closed source, then you can sell the product. So that's the difference. But since most fitness games that are currently on the Oculus Store are kind of subscription based, so they are already selling you a service. That doesn't really interfere with the open source model.
Mm-hmm. And you said something interesting to me, which is that when you are building open source, you have extra abilities to incorporate other open source technology into your project. Can you give me some examples of that?
I mean, obviously, if you're creating something, then you're usually looking for things that solve some problem for you. If it's an open source library, or if it's something open source, then there's usually some strings attached. I mean, you can use it because it's open source, but usually if you're creating some commercial licensing, for example, you're trying to add some GPL library, then you're running into licensing problems, or you have to release the code. If you're building an open source project, in our case it's MIT licensed, then you don't have that big of an issue because you're keeping it open source and you aren't running into those limitations.
And it seems like what's been a little bit unique about your approach compared to some of the other fitness apps is you're really developing relationships with all these different people in the ecosystem, even like hardware peripherals, tracking, all that kind of stuff. Do you think your open source approach helps you make those relationships?
In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. I mean, we have been approached by the Slime VR developers for the full body tracking, which is kind of great because they came to me and asked if we want to connect, and it's already given us a bit of publicity because the Mystical, the YouTube streamer, is quite interested in body tracking, and he's following the Slime VR tracking. So that's something where we got a lot of publicity. So for that case, it's great. But obviously there are commercial products where this isn't really an option. I mean, we tried to integrate with YourFit, where you have to. I mean, they have proprietary technology, so you have to at least convince them that whatever you're building won't be released in the wild. So usually, if you have an open source project which has to integrate with those things, then you have to have some blobs that you have to integrate, and which aren't open source, which is always kind of a bit of a running on the tightrope to not interfere too much with the community, but also not to break some NDAs or thing that you have to sign.
Mm-hmm. And you've been trying to meet with as many investors as possible, I imagine. Where do you find these investors?
Well, basically, I don't find them because that's why I have a business partner, which is I kind of got lucky that he approached me because he has already a product on the Oculus Store, and he is involved in a lot of other projects, and he's basically the guy who has a lot of connections to others, and he already had kind of nice plan of who he wants to approach, and we really tried to build out our pitch deck to make it really appealing, and with that he went to the investors.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think your biggest risk is as a company?
Well, one obvious risk is injury. I mean, we are building in a fitness app, and injuries are a real issue, and we're trying to do everything to avoid that risk. So I mean, first of all, when we started, I started back in 2019, I was really scared that something could happen, and which was also one of a big reason why I made it open source, so that people can just take it on their own risk. The thing is that there are so many VR games out there who if you go to Reddit, every second day you find some post where someone hit the wall or hit the screen or hit some other player or something, and there are really a lot of injuries there. So people don't seem to care too much about that, but that's not enough for us. So we can't just accept the fact that there is a risk. So we're trying to really, we won't let any people into the game who aren't aware of that the risk they are getting into if they are doing exercises with a headset on. So we have a disclaimer that you actually, if you don't read it, you won't get by it because you won't know how to get by it. It's not a simple button thing where you just say, okay, I read it and it's done. And in the game, we're trying to add a lot of measures to keep it as safe as possible. So obviously, we have to try to keep the player centered, because as long as the player is in the center of his play space, there is no risk of him hitting something. So we have a lot of visual cues that tell you when to go back or forward or left or right. We're also trying to add, we also have a warm-up now in the game that basically very visible. We will try to add it even mandatory, that people have to accept if they already warmed up, so that people at least have their body in a state where it's relatively safe to do the exercise. And we also with the fitness trainers we're talking to, we're trying to add as much security as possible to get it to make it safe for people to use it. But obviously we incorporate it, so we have to put some cooperation between that to kind of limit the liability a bit.
Sure. And to everyone who's watching, how much are you raising and what are you doing with the money?
So basically, at the moment we are trying to raise 1.5 million, which is we started off with around 700, but every investor we're talking to is basically telling us it's too little because they want to invest in a big company. Oculus. When we were with 700, Oculus told us it's way too low because the investments in VR are so much higher. So that's the reason why we're investing in that round. First of all, at the first money we will really raise we will put everything into the look, because everything into the art and the user interface design, because that's basically the thing that will get us where we want to be. The second thing is we will have at least 400K on the side for performance marketing, because the thing is, you can have the best product, but if you're not known, then you just don't exist. I've seen that. When I started, I thought everything is that the most important thing are features. But after 1.5 years, I've seen the most important thing is that people know you, and it doesn't really matter if you have 3 times the features than your competition has. If they don't know you, then you're not there. Then we have lined up a lot of developers, like I already mentioned, from the Godot engine, and we need backend developers, we need front-end developers, because we also built the infrastructure for our multiplayer. it's already there, everything's working, we already have the stuff running, but for it to be like a game not for 2,000 or 5,000 monthly players, but for 200 to 500,000 monthly players, then we have to build a lot of infrastructure in the background. So that's basically the first round we're trying to raise. So it's 1.5 million with a safe cap of 5 million. So it's around 30% that we are raising. And then further rounds will be, because we're not trying to create a product that's then sold and it's finished, but we're trying, basically it's the first step to a much bigger thing down the road.
Sure. And what kind of analytics or data can you share with us? Number of downloads, rating, that kind of thing?
Yeah. So at the moment, the downloads are around 65,000 if you combine Steam and App Lab and SideQuest. Currently, we are at 2,000 monthly players. So that's without any marketing, because we didn't do marketing yet. So now we've started marketing, and it's basically with some simple ads, we already doubled that. So, but there's no real money behind it. It's around $500. So it's really just trying to figure out where the path will go. Ratings, we are on SideQuest with a rating of 4.35 at around 100 reviews, and on App Lab we have 4.2 at 25 or something. I'm not sure, because we don't have a lot of App Lab ratings yet. So generally, everybody's the people really like the way to do that. The good thing is we aren't trying to be a game. We are a fitness first, so we're trying to be a fitness app that tries to add as much game elements as are possible to make it more interesting. But it's fitness focused game, which kind of limits the expectations of players, that they know that's a fitness game. If you won't be mad at your home trainer if you sweat. So that's kind of the thing, yeah.
Great. And trying to keep these to 20 minutes, I'm just going to ask one more question. What can you tell me about revenue model? I know you're going with a live service that's going to be free to play. You're going to be focusing on advertising, right? What else do you know? What else do you expect about the way you're going to earn revenue?
Revenue model. I mean, if you look at the other fitness, almost all other fitness apps that are kind of big on the store, it's always a kind of subscription model. Our focus is we really want it to be free at some level, so that we want everybody to be able to use it, even if they can't afford a subscription model, and that will be in some form or shape funded by advertising, but not kind of like this mobile advertising where it's everything popping in your head. But if you're in a gym, you probably have some advertising on the wall somewhere as well. So if you go to a gym, and the gym owner tells you, yeah, you can go in there for free, but you have to look at the posters on the wall, then you would kind of be surprised, probably positively. Sure. And basically that's what we're doing. But for the real monetization model, it's a subscription. Will be a subscription model which probably targeted around $5 a month, so it won't break the bank. And for that you get a lot of additional features. So in the basic version is basically an offline thing. You can use it as much as you want for yourself. And if you want to have the online features, if you want to have the tracking, if you want to have then further down the road gym classes where you basically, if for example, if you go to the gym and you usually have your schedule where like on Monday Jennifer is doing the Zumba classes, something like that will be in the game as well, so that you see a schedule of gym classes that you can join. And with your subscription you get, for example, one gym class free per month, and if you want more then you can buy additional gym classes and join them. So that's going to be the first revenue model. The second one will be to give trainers a way to join with their students, so that a trainer can create the gym class. They will obviously pay more because they are getting revenue out of that. They will have a premium model there, and then people can join. So you are a trainer, you want to train your 30 or 50 people in your gym class, and you just have a higher monthly fee to have additional trainer features. And the last thing will then be kind of this Uber model where you're matching personal trainers with trainees, so that you log onto the app and you say, okay, I want a personal trainer, and they are offering their services, and you basically say, okay, I want this trainer now for an hour, and we will just get a cut of the revenue share.
Awesome. Well, that's all. Jesse, do you have something here? You raising your
hand?
I
just had a question for you, Michael. When you've had conversations with investors, have they keyed in on any specific metrics or trends of yours that they either find most promising or most troubling? Have there been any type of metrics that you've been tracking that they really take a keen focus on?
Well, I mean, obviously, what everybody wants to know is how many users you have. I mean, that's basically it. That's also what Oculus. Funny thing, even Oculus asked us how many users they had, which is kind of strange because they would just have to look it up, but maybe they are not allowed to because of the business model. And when we told them that we have around 2,000 monthly users, they were kind of, yeah, that's kind of good. So, I mean, obviously, it wouldn't be good if you are Gorilla Tag or if you are some really popular brand thing. But for something so niche like it's us, they were kind of happy with that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll open up for questions and casual chat, but just in closing, I just want to say, I hope you find the $1.5 million.
You're asking me all the way out there, and I'm listening to something.
I hope you find the $1.5 million you're looking for. I think you guys totally deserve it. I've been super impressed watching you guys. I think you're attacking a big market. You got a great product. And I think you touched on something earlier, which was, you used to think it was all about the features, and now you realize it's all about the exposure. And I don't think very many people are capable of making that transition mentally, right? And I think the fact that you're able to encompass both perspectives, I think is very promising for the future of XR Workout. So I wish you guys the best of luck. Obviously, let us know anything we can do to help you get this money raised. And thanks for coming on.
Awesome. Thank you.
Give him likes.
I'm giving him hearts. Can I give him a heart, or do I have to give him like?
You could make dollar signs that people can throw at you.
This is
Michael.
Have there been any? We'll be going up on Twitter, and then feel free to ask any follow-up questions, and we'll be doing our regular mixer here in about 10 minutes.
Michael, have there been any things that have surprised you in investor meetings or things maybe you might not have expected, either pleasant surprises or maybe negative surprises?
Well, I mean, I haven't had any exposure to that in the past, so I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, basically, the first thing that really surprised me was the volume, because I mean, at first when we were thinking about maybe getting an Oculus grant, we were trending around 185,000. I was like already, wow, if someone gives you that money, it's really like that. And then it doubled and doubled and doubled, and every time then I realized that I think even it was something Justin mentioned a few months back when he announced that maybe there will be fundraising event. He told that he would be happy if there were investors investing 50,000 for some smaller project, but the thing is that just nobody really wants that, because they all want to go big or go home. So I mean, you want a big investment, you want a big payout, and the small things isn't really that's something that's such common, and that's something I really was surprised that nobody really was kind of when we mentioned like the 1.5 million which we're looking for, but basically even if we don't get the 1.5 million, we are still good to go. So I mean, we already have quite a finished product which needs, let's say, a certain amount to make it to some minimum viable product which will also survive. If you are asking for that money, nobody's really surprised about that, and that surprised me. And that
Awesome.
Michael, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to know how you are planning to do the performance marketing, because there are always the issue that the target group, that you don't get the target group at the right time. At the time they have the VR headset, and now they're searching in the search box of Google workout. I don't know how you are going to plan.
I guess the most successful marketing strategy, if you're on the Quest, will be Facebook. I mean, that's just there are so many Facebook groups who are talking about VR games that having ad targeting there is probably the best way. But what I find kind of really interesting is this. I'm not sure. Do you know this Zesty Market? Are you from Zesty Market, or is it? Yeah, Siren. So the thing is, obviously, at the moment, nobody really wants to talk about ads in VR, but there is already a solution for that, and that's Zesty Market, which gives developers the option to
you can mute your microphone
create a space where others can advertise. And I've been trying that, and that thing works awesomely well. I mean, it's currently only in WebXR experiences, which is kind of a benefit, because if it's in the home environment on your Oculus, you have these experiences. I think if you scroll down three or four lines, then you have those experiences. And those are basically, if people are looking for stuff for free, they are looking at that. And if you're there advertising there, then you're only one click away from your game, because they already are in the headset. If they click there, then they are on your store page. Then you just click install and your game is installed. So that's basically really the best way to advertise at the moment.
Oh, sounds good.
Michael, I got a two-part question for you.
Yeah.
So first, as you're building this out and what you've built so far, for whom around the world is it built, right? And the second part of the question is, do investors care where you're building it for?
You mean the target audience?
Target audience, yeah. The market that you're trying to penetrate.
So in our case, the target audience is basically anyone who has ever thought that he should have maybe exercised more. So that's basically everybody. I mean, I guess that question comes in mind to probably everyone at some point in time. So that you think maybe I should exercise more. And usually, in my case, when I'm thinking about adding more exercise, because I was kind of like a bit slacking over a few months, then I always find a reason why now is not the right time, because the gym is closed, or I just have to buy gym clothes, or I have to add some exercise equipment or something. And with VR, you already have the VR headset, so the only thing you need is an app, which is also free, so that you have no excuse to not do it. And you can't even have the excuse that it's taking a lot of time, because our workouts are really short. So you really meant for very short periods. So you can't even tell yourself that you don't have the time for it. And that's basically the target audience. It's really it's not for people who think that you can play a game and reach the fitness level you want. I mean, there are so many games out there who are really great way to get into fitness. I mean, basically all music rhythm games are meant to get you into fitness. It's even if it's not the primary focus, but they are all getting into fitness. But they're getting you all only to a certain level, because at some point, if you want to advance beyond that, then you have to. I mean, you can't gain something without a little bit of pain. And basically, for people who would buy a home trainer and at home run on the treadmill or on the exercise bike or something, for that people it's basically the core group. And since the investors we are currently talking to are also from the fitness space, there is kind of a really good synergy because I mentioned in the video, one is Dr. John Jaquish, who is building an exercise bar. This is basically resistance bands on a plate where you're standing on, and you have this bar connected to it. So you're basically doing weightlifting without the weights, because you're just weightlifting with the exercise against the resistance bands. So people like that are already in this space, and obviously they know that the product is exactly for the people they are already targeting. So that's basically a match perfectly.
Do you worry at all about how headset designs don't seem to be very conducive to like fitness activities? Like that's the biggest blocker for me, right? Like I just hate sweating in it. But do you worry that like that will be a constraint for the growth of your business?
I mean, when this pseudo leak with the HTC Vive Air came out, I was like, oh my god, that's perfect. Yeah. Obviously it wasn't. I mean, everybody really noticed quite soon was just a design study. It's basically the most common thing people ask themselves if they want to do exercise in VR or not, because of sweat and because of the weight of the headset. The thing is, there is such a huge community already trying to use headsets for fitness, and we are basically siphoning up the top of them. So they are getting into fitness with Synthriders, with Beat Saber, with Audio Trip, with Supernatural and stuff. And at some point they either start adding weights or resistance bands, which I kind of dislike, or they are looking for something else. And then basically once the other stuff is completely run dry, then they come to us, because we are the next step in the intensity ladder. So everybody who's using, or most people who are really really diving into VR workout already are comfortable with doing some form of exercise in VR. So that's, I mean, I'm happy if the headsets get lighter. I'm happy if the sweat situation gets better. But yeah, people already know how to suffer a little bit, and so that's not that big of.
There's always Bobo.
Yeah, there's always Bobo. Yeah.
Or a ceiling fan.
For those who don't know, Bobo VR is a face cover with a fan on it, so that gets your heat out of the headset, out of your eyes.
Nice.
Yes, Sophia.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, could you walk me through the experience that one has when we start using the app? Like the experience, do you have music? What type of exercises?
So in the video I mentioned, basically we have a few songs that are included in the game, which is your usual royalty-free things. A few stuff we made ourselves, a few stuff we had on Fiverr made, but that's not really something that you would recognize from some hit list or something. But we always trying to. I mean, if people exercise, then everybody has his own favorite music and his own stuff he wants to hear. Some people just want to listen to a podcast or an audiobook. So in our case, you have the option to use the included music or just upload your own MP3s, whatever fits your playlist style. And for those who don't want to upload their own music, you can also use YouTube playlists. So if you're logged in the game, you can declare, you can in our user portal, you can add YouTube playlists, and it will then play the playlist in in the game, or you can just use free play, which is only sound effects. So if you, for example, if you have the music on your phone, then just put it on and play the game without music, but still having the sound effects.
Okay, got it.
Oh, I had a question. Have you, obviously this is like way far off, but have you thought about integrations with some of the like more popular fitness programs for, you know, large companies that aren't working with VR, like Peloton, and I know Apple Fitness is like a thing now. Is that
So
sort of like on your radar at all?
The thing that the only integration we currently have is you can export your workouts as a TCX, and every portal that supports TCX, you can import that. For example, Strava. If you have a Strava account, then you can import your workouts there. So we are, in our case, we aren't trying to replace anything of that. We are really trying to integrate with as many as possible, but for that we need resources. I'm currently looking into directly integrating with Strava so that if you have an account there, that it syncs automatically, your workouts automatically. As for other things, we try to. We have on our agenda, which is kind of phase 3, I think, in our plan. We try to add not only VR but also AR and also mobile. So the thing is that our idea is to have virtually the same game on mobile, basically on your tablet, for example, like in Ring Fit Adventure, which you control with your body. So some neural net that tracks your position, and be able to be in the same space, in the multiplayer space as the others. So if you have a VR workout, you could, for example, we are in here and a few people are in here with their VR headset, some with their AR headset, and some who either can't be because they can't stand the VR or because they just don't have it with them, just join on their phone. So doing the same exercises, getting the same score, getting the same, and seeing the same people, but being on the phone. So basically having a big funnel of mobile users then back into your ecosystem.
Nice, very cool. I think just to sort of expand a little bit on the business side, I mean, Peloton has this sort of like cult of personality thing going on where they have these like really celebrity instructors. So I don't know if that is something you could integrate it or not, but it might be an interesting direction to think about.
So we are planning for fitness classes. We currently have already that kind of a bit of that support. You won't see the fitness instructor because it's still those our simple models. But we have two things we are thinking about. One is having a fitness instructor recorded in front of with Live or something where you just see them. Since we are controlling the position of the players, we can basically put the instructor at the front a bit off from the group, so it wouldn't really be possible to see them from the side. So even having a video, which is just a green screen video, would already look quite nice if they were really in the space. Or the second thing is just having an avatar of them and having them use full body tracking to integrate there. So that's our plan for fitness classes, where a trainer really can teach them, and that would be similar to like this spins Soul Cycle or Peloton or anything where you really have this trainer motivating the group and you have like 20, 30, 50 people trying to keep up with the exercise. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
More likes.
Nice job, Michael.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Well done, Michael. Guys, we're going to mingle for about 5 minutes and then get kicked off in the center in about 5 minutes or so.
Awesome.
Cool.